Welcome, students. Today we're going to finish up our state and local government unit by looking at how state and local governments interact with the people and how the people in a community interact with their state and local government. So let's begin with how the Constitution shapes this relationship. And the big element of the Constitution that influences what state and local governments do for you or to you is the 10th Amendment. And the 10th Amendment is the final amendment of the Bill of Rights. It limits the power of the national government or the federal government by setting aside powers that only can be exercised by the state. This is not a specific list of powers. It basically says that whatever powers the United States government does not have, those powers will be exercised by state governments. This sets up a category of power called reserve powers, things that the states do. And the reason why this is important to you and to understand is because these are the powers of government that typically have the biggest control over your day-to-day life. So the other way that we refer to this concept of this idea is by using the term police powers. If you think about what that term means, it really is about sort of regulating your day-to-day life. So state governments do things like set up the policies that shape your education, the laws that shape how you travel, speed limits, and roads, and other things that just get right into your day-to-day life. Those decisions are made by state and local government. So state and local government has a lot of influence over your life. But the flip side of that, or the way that it goes in the other direction, is that state and local government is far more accessible to the people. So you, as a citizen, could potentially have much greater influence over your state and local government than you can over the national government. And this is because it's just closer to you. You can go to a local government meeting and voice your opinion to the people that run your community. It's a lot easier to communicate with your state level officials. It's also a lot easier to run for and win offices at the state and local level, even for young people, people who aren't experienced with politics. So there's a much greater accessibility there for people. In terms of state and local government interacting with the people, the other thing that state and local government is oftentimes responsible for is for providing things. So they provide services, they provide safety, and they provide education. So services include things like the roads that we use to travel on, hospitals, assistance to the poor, safety. Public safety comes from local police or other law enforcement. All of these organizations are run and funded by local government, state government. And then think about the fact that in Virginia, every community, every county or city manages their own education through their own school board and public schools. So local government is providing quite a bit for the people. In order to provide for these things, state and local governments have to tax. They have to raise money to pay for the police, the schools, the roads, and all the other things. So let's look for just a second about how state and local governments tax, how they get this money. A lot of it comes through sales tax, and we need to understand the difference between a regressive tax and a progressive tax and a property tax. What kind of effect they have on people, some examples of how you might encounter these in real life. So a progressive tax is a tax like income tax. And the reason why it's called a progressive tax is because it affects people more the higher their income. So if you make more money, you will pay more income tax. The tax progresses as your income level goes up. And state income taxes are basically set up around the same principle and same idea as national income tax. Regressive tax is something like a sales tax. So you pay a certain percentage on goods or food or anything else that you buy. That sales tax could include the state sales tax as well as a local sales tax on top of it, or even sometimes a sales tax and a meals tax, all sort of piled up on top of your bill. So think about buying something at a store. You're going to pay not only the price on the price tag, but a little bit extra as sales tax. And everybody pays the same percentage because everyone is paying the same percentage, this is referred to as a regressive tax, because it will actually impact or affect people with lower incomes more. You know, a $5 purchase with even a small percentage of tax is going to take more money out of the pocket of someone who doesn't make as much money than it would, relatively speaking, to someone who makes more money. So regressive taxes are taxes where everybody pays the same percentage, but they end up having a higher impact, a higher effect on people who don't make as much money. And then property taxes are levied by state and local government because, or rather I should say, on things that people own. And this mainly comes about in the form of tax that you might pay on your real estate property, like land, and on your cars and other big deal assets that a person might own. So you're going to pay property tax on land, houses, cars, and other things like that. And finally, let's talk about a little more specifically how people can influence state and local government. It's easy and entirely possible for you to influence a local government far much more than state or certainly even national government, mainly because of how close it is to you. Think about the fact that it's really easy to attend meetings and other political or government functions. If you've gone to one of these meetings, you'll see people from the community standing up and speaking their mind and addressing elected officials, and this is something that you can do with a city council or with a board of supervisors, but you can't necessarily do with Congress or the president. Think about how much easier that is, and it's also much easier to run for local office, or to have kind of a more even direct participatory impact on local government, just because it's here and it's close to you and it's accessible. All right, and that's it. Bring your notes and questions to class, and we'll talk about it when we see one another. Thanks.